Let's be real, strategizing for a great product can be hard. The question is, can you manage this internally in-house, or do you need an external provider, agency, or consultant? When you're iterating your current product or building a new product, there's a lot of noise and assumptions in the organization, whether it comes from different stakeholders or from team members. Now, in my experience, there are best ways or best practices as to how you can manage this. You can do this internally, but you can also hire an external facilitator, consultant, agency to be able to help you out with this. I get a lot of questions as to which way should you go if you were a business, and in this video, I'm going to help you understand what best fits you through some of these points. One of the benefits of bringing an external provider, such as an agency or a consultant in this process, is that you have fresh thinking and unbiased thinking into the business problem. Oftentimes, the challenge of having this process, in this case, product design, product strategy, product acceleration process, if it was done internally, there are biases that can easily come up, and there are political agendas as well sometimes that may be unforeseen originally. But then throughout the process, that gets more and more visible, and then it disrupts the whole purpose of the process itself. So having someone external come in with a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh pair of minds, without any influences from the internal factors, could definitely help the process. The other benefit of having someone external with lots of experience on hand dealing with different cases in the past is actually they bring in with a certain method and a certain system that could definitely help your business move forward. Part of the problems of working on problems such as this internally is that the problem is quite siloed within the organization, that fresh perspectives are not brought in. If you brought in an external consultant, typically they're able to bring in, their own method and experiences and insights from other cases that they would have dealt with that hopefully is similar to your niche or your industry or vertical. That way it enriches the problem-solving factor of the process in itself. The other main consideration is around speed and focus to the project or the task itself. The challenges that I find when internal teams or internal resources are managing this process is that the focus can be distracted sometimes because there are other competing priorities within their day-to-day routine, whether it's other projects or other operational matters. So when driving innovation, when driving strategy processes, typically in-house resources may struggle a little bit with managing time and the focus, and therefore it basically possibility of delay to the project. So if there's delay around, your strategy and innovation, the byproduct of that is basically there's a delay as well in the production of it, or the actions that are required after. So bringing in an external provider oftentimes helps with speed and focus because they can solely focus on that particular challenge that we're talking about. If you're already working with your agency, whether it's a digital agency, a creative agency, an implementation or technical agency, find out their capabilities as well when it comes to facilitation, particularly around digital product strategy. These days in this modern environment and ecosystem that we live in, typically all execution, production, implementation agencies do have a component of strategy that comes with them, and it's a capability that is growing. So find out what their expertise are like when it comes to strategy, because that's something that you can leverage as part of your relationship. Sometimes it may be best to approach a specialist as well that focuses only on discovery work and strategy work, because that's all they do, and they come in as a specialist and therefore be able to help you prescribe an unbiased solution, or at least prescribe requirements to your current agency that's currently managing your production work and implementation work. So consider all of these factors as well, because at the end of the day, it's not just execution, but there's a lot of planning that becomes more and more important, and it actually defines the efficiency of the production or implementation work itself. The most important thing is to actually work with someone who can drive your strategy forward into action and can actually move the needle. What that means is whether you work internally or externally, with an external consultant, it's important to have someone who can hold you accountable and hold the team accountable towards a certain action, whether it's a release of the MVP or the release of the phase 1 or the phase 2 or subsequent phases of the product or the service. And therefore, sometimes working with an external provider that is focused on your case can actually increase the chances of doing so, because that's really their main focus. Okay, ultimately speaking, there's no right or wrong in this. It really depends on your circumstances and what your company or business setup is like. But the most important thing is that we all want a strategy that leads into impactful execution. And so if that's the main goal, then we just need to consider all of the different, players in the ecosystem and work towards something that delivers a productive result for the company that drives outcome. Now, it may be a hybrid setup, it may be a full internal setup, it might be in partnership with certain agencies or consultants. If you need help around team structures, around defining what requirements may be like internally before reaching out to an external provider, please have a chat with me. We'll make sure that we have links in the description down below on ways how we can connect. And hopefully I'll be able to help you out from there. Otherwise, have a good one and stay healthy.